Alright, how we do, folks? Here, boom! Welcome to 5 numbers after the name. Ooh-wee! Little Freestyle Friday here, a little Elden Ring, going through all the bosses, and these guys. Yeah. Every once in a while when you go to these little areas, you don't know who fully you're going to run into. It could be somebody who's just a pushover, or it could be somebody who's a badass, and in this case, we got ourselves the badass kind of version. I always like when I go back to some of these files, at this point, I don't fully remember playing through, like, these enemies. I kind of watch lower the footage, and I'm just like, oh, that's right, this guy, and then it clicks in. But when you open up the file, all of a sudden it's like 1 hour and 15 minutes. I was like, oh, I spent an hour on this, man. Let's see what we got. And then I was like, right, yeah, I did. Might be the case of I probably shouldn't be here at this time kind of situation. Might be the case of, hey, this guy's just hard. I mean, you kind of see, like, as you go through the week, some bosses now I just rinse, and other guys I walk into and I have real proper fights with, and then other guys I go and I just get my ass kicked for like a while. I don't know. It's what makes, I guess, these Dark Souls games, these Elden Ring game, and Elden Ring in particular, very special. I probably would still like the, I don't know, I was going to say the linearity of Dark Souls as opposed to Elden Ring, but, I mean, nothing was really linear in Dark Souls, right? Like, you could kind of go to different places. You didn't have to go in order. It was just really difficult if you went to other places. And this is a little more accessible overall, but it still follows kind of those same principles. There is a way you probably should go, and then there's other ways you could go, and it's up to you as to how much you want to go through. So I could get to this boss, for example, and be like, you know what, man, like, I'm good. This guy's kicking my ass. Let me mark him over here on the map. I'll come back to it. I did that with some people because, like, clearly I was like, I probably shouldn't be here. Like, I don't. You hopefully notice that in the boss, in the enemies in the area, rather than the actual boss. But sometimes you don't know. And then what's cool is, at the end of the game, it did kind of feel like a very Dark Souls thing because you kind of had to go through a certain place for the most part to end the game, and you have a little bit of like couple 2, 3, 4, bosses that you have to fight, and you could tell that those guys were already designed as like, hey, like you gotta have like this much level, you gotta have this much power in your weapon, you gotta have this much skill to get through these. Whereas the rest of these bosses, it left a little bit of doubt of like, is this just a matter of me not being good? Is this a matter of me not having like the right power-ups? Me not having the right armor set? Is this just I shouldn't be here? That makes it fun for the open world. I did see that they apparently announced some DLC, so I'm very curious as to what they do to that. I assume you either just travel to like a new map, like a smaller version of it, or they add something to the current map. Either way, I think I'd be pretty pumped to get back into like Elden Ring and see what that is. You know, I've been far enough away from it now where I'm itching again to get into a Dark Souls game. It's really funny when you play a game like Elden Ring, at least for me personally, or Dark Souls, you don't really like I never beat one and I'm like, man, I'm gonna replay this. Can't wait to start again. Can't wait to do that. That's just not how I work. But after time, and as it keeps going on, you kind of get that itch again of like, like I could kind of get through this, man. And on my list has been to go back and play Bloodborne, because I haven't played the DLC. I have the Old Hunters DLC right now. I've never played it, and I thought maybe I'd go back and just play that game from scratch on the PS5. You know, it's not really patched or anything like that, but maybe it runs a little bit smoother. I haven't played it since like it came out. That one's kind of the one I've been teetering of. Maybe I go back to and play if I have one of these itches, but it's a time commitment too. You know, when you kind of think about that, in these games, they're long, they're difficult, so you gotta take all that into account. Like, I don't know, it's a game where you kind of have to be in the mood for it, because you're putting yourself through a lot of suffering, and honestly, you probably want to be in a good place in your life, man. You definitely don't want to be having like doubts about yourself or your life and then play Dark Souls, because this thing will like pummel you, man. Now when you beat one of the bosses, that'd be cool. You'll be like, alright, cool, like I got it. But when you get your ass kicked like this by a Crucible knife for like an hour and change, you start to second guess everything in your life. And I'm over here no Estus, so now I'm like, come on, man. I was like, I just gotta get one more hit, man. Stop being on the ground. Give me a nice easy one. Dodge through. Try to hit. Don't get hit. Jump. Move. Left. Right. Come on, my man. He swings. I hit him. Hit him. Oh, hallelujah. Go save somewhere, man. Heal up, man. You need it.